What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Surfing the Stream, where every week we are on a quest to find out what is the greatest movie of all time. I am Matt Primo, joined by Josh Primo.
What's up, bitches?
This week we are here to review a cult classic called Pulp Fiction. I mentioned this on last week's episode. This is a movie that I watched for the first time ever. I think it was last year, maybe the year before. I can't remember exactly, but I decided to watch all of Quentin Tarantino's films, all 9 of them, and I decided to rank them in an episode. And Pulp Fiction at the time was number 3. Once I finished watching all of his movies, but it was also one of those movies that, maybe you just didn't grasp it the way that it was supposed to be grasped. Shout out until maybe the second time around. So very eager to actually review this movie. But more importantly, this wasn't really a movie that I necessarily wanted to review for myself. Since we started doing the whole back and forth thing again, where Josh picks a movie, then I pick a movie, I really want to push Josh's boundaries of what he considers good movies. And one, it makes for good content when he thinks they're shitty. So there's that. 2, it's nice to get some different flavors with the reviews on the podcast. So I was mainly excited to review this just for Josh's sake and to see what he thinks about a movie that personally I don't think is in his wheelhouse whatsoever. So I'm very, very eager to find out what he actually thinks about this movie. But before we jump into the review, if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/2game. That link is down below, along with the links to our merch store where you can get exclusive t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops. There's a little coffee mug and shit on there. There's a link for that, and there's a link for all of our social media websites as well. So we would appreciate if you went to all those links, like, subscribe, support us however you can. We would greatly appreciate it. But better yet, if you're listening to us on YouTube, you can click the link down below. It'll send you to the audio only version, and then vice versa. And like I said, if you're on YouTube, like this video, subscribe. It really, really helps us out. We're trying to get this motherfucker monotonized. I'm just saying. It'll be monetized. I said monotonized.
I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Monotonized. I was like, huh?
as soon as I fucking said the word, I was like, that's not right. And that's why we shouldn't be supported.
You threw me for a loop there, dog. I was like, what the fuck?
You get what you pay for, guys.
Hell.
Monetized. In my defense, I'm fighting off a little bit of sickness. I'm a little tired. It's hot in here. Just saying.
Pussy.
I own that one. I fucked that up. I'm not gonna
I'm anxious to hear about your critique.
I fucking hate you. Pulp fucking Fiction. Let's jump into it. The lives of 2 mob hitmen, a boxer, a gangster and his wife, and a pair of diner bandits intertwine in 4 tales of violence and redemption. This movie was directed by Quentin Tarantino, who is personally my favorite director. And then Chris Nolan is probably number 2. No, number 3. Denis Villeneuve is probably number 2 for me. Let's see. He has directed Death Proof, which is the only bad movie from Tarantino, in my personal opinion. Kill Bill, Jackie Brown, Reservoir Dogs, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Hateful Eight, which is my favorite Tarantino movie, Django Unchained, and Inglourious Bastards. This movie had a budget of $8 million, and it grossed $213.9 million.
Damn.
Pretty good return on
That's
investment.
a good return on money right there, son of a bitch.
It stars John Travolta, Uma Thurman, which is one of my least favorite actresses ever, Actually, I will say this. Y'all should go back and listen to our review of Batman and Robin, because she played Poison Ivy in that movie. Did you know that?
Do you think I knew that?
And I thought you might have. I was trying to give you a little prop up, you know what I'm saying? But no, I should know better.
I was monotonized.
So in that review, I think I ranted for about 20 minutes on how much I hated Uma Thurman in that movie. She's one of my least favorite actresses. Now, granted, she's in Kill Bill, which is I really fucking love that movie. So whatever. Samuel L. Jackson in this movie, and then Bruce Willis as well. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 34 minutes, and it was released October 14th, 1994. Jumping into the fun facts, $5 of the $8 million, so $5 million out of the $8 million went to the actors. So only $3 million went to the actual like fucking movie itself. The word fuck is used 265 times.
I think we can beat that.
Oh, dude, we beat that like every single week. Shout out.
You damn right we do.
Yeah. This film was selected for preservation in the Library of Congress National Film Registry in 2013. Here's an interesting one. James Gandolfini was considered for the role of Vincent Vega, who was but he refused and instead recommended John Travolta for the role instead. In 2007, the American Film Institute ranked this as the 94th greatest movie of all time. So I got to get your expectations of this movie. What did you think going into this movie that you were going to get? And then I want it all, sir.
Oh, you do, don't you? It's not a lot.
Right there.
So expectations going in wasn't very high because I've always heard this movie was a love it or not like it.
Hate it.
And I
dislike.
Yeah, I fucked it up, man. That it's been a long fucking day, bro. It's been a long fucking day.
Love it or not love it.
I fucking deserved it. I don't know, and I've always known Quentin Tarantino is very dialogue heavy in the movie, so I was very curious to see if it would be something I would catch or like. So I was very open-minded walking in.
Super dialogue heavy, which is why I wasn't. I knew it wasn't in your wheelhouse, but I was still like, I'm trying to push you, I'm trying to guide you.
And I watched this, and I don't know where the fuck I fall in this movie. I loved parts. I love fucking parts of it. I don't like some parts of it, and I don't feel like it's a one-watch movie. I think it's one of those movies you have to watch more than once to understand what he's after. Or I guess if you're intelligent, you catch it the first time. But I need a redo.
Personally, I don't think it's his best movie in terms of the dialogue and stuff like that. I don't think. I mean, I think he has some interesting characters in there, but to me, The Hateful Eight has the most interesting characters. Django Unchained has probably more interesting characters in that movie. This one just has iconic scenes. Like, you've seen all the memes. Now you know what it means behind all the memes. You got John Travolta. You got the Samuel L. Jackson shit. Just so much has been made out of this movie just from memes, gifs, and one-liners and stuff like that.
And can we just have a moment of silence for the Jerry curl that Samuel L. Jackson pulled off?
Dude, when you first watch it, you're like, that's a terrible wig. but I fucking dig it.
It reminded me of Pinky on Friday.
Yes.
That's it. That's what it reminded me of.
I was gonna watch that movie today, Friday.
Oh hell.
I almost watched it. But yeah, the movie is just iconic from beginning to end. But I will agree with you. There are parts in this movie that maybe not as good. I would argue that this movie could be probably about 15 minutes shorter.
I could definitely argue that.
Um, I think some of the scenes. I mean, do we need as long of conversations between Vincent Vega's character and Mia, like at the diner? Does the diner
No,
really need to be that long? I don't think so.
no,
I don't know,
absolutely not.
but that scene, that whole scene at the diner leads to one of my favorite scenes in the fucking movie, which is her ODing.
Yeah, no chicken stabbed in the fucking chest.
Dude, I had to write some of this shit down. He calls him on the phone and he's like, "What? Are you calling? Are you calling me on a phone? Who is this?"
Yeah.
And then he crashes into the fucking house.
And then they're
and
arguing over who's gonna get the shot. Yeah.
and just the whole tone of that. And that's one of the things about Quentin Tarantino, that if you've never watched one of his movies, his humor is very, very unique, and a lot of the dialogue is very, very subtle with his humor. And if you can catch it, that shit's hilarious. One thing that I was wondering why they called it this, and I don't know if it makes you racist or not by laughing at it, but do you know what a Martin and Lewis and an Amos and Andy is?
No.
So Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis were two white men. Amos and Andy were two black guys. So do you want yours Martin and Lewis, or do you want an Amos and Andy? So do you want vanilla or chocolate shake? Never caught that beforehand. I watched it this time and I was like, bro, that's fucked up.
You know, the one thing I loved about this movie was the chemistry between Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta. There wasn't a scene with them two together that I just didn't fucking enjoy. I mean, they're arguing about what a fucking Big Mac is called in overseas, and they're on the way to kill somebody, and it's just it was great dialogue. It was intriguing, even though it didn't mean shit, but it still I enjoyed it. I liked anything with them two in it together.
It kind of reminds me of like conversations that you would have like on the ambulance. Like you're on the way to a call and you're just talking about random stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like Nick, I know you're out there listening to this if you are. I feel like these are conversations that you and I would have on the ambulance. Like we would just randomly talk about the Royale with cheese. Do you know why they call it that? It's because of the metric system.
you know it's not a quarter pounder over there.
So the dialogue is honestly one of my favorite aspects of the entire movie. They do keep it interesting, but like I said, I don't feel like it's his most interesting dialogue. To me, the funniest movie that he has is The Hateful Eight. I laughed nonstop in that movie, but that's just me. This one has, if you're following along and you can catch some of the subtleties within it, then it's pretty freaking funny. One of the good scenes that I want to talk about is the first kill scene when you got them in the apartment.
Yeah.
And then we get the classic line, "Say what again, motherfucker? Say what again one more time." and and he's like, do you think he's a bitch? would you fuck him like a bitch?
Yeah.
It's just line after line is just like, if you go back and think about just all the things that people have quoted from this movie, it's just so many quotable lines from it. And there's just so many in that one little sequence. The overdose is one of my favorites. The one scene I want to talk to you about, the watch monologue. What did you think about that one?
I personally don't like any part of that sub story. I don't like the watch. I don't like Bruce Willis's character, and I don't like his girlfriend, and I don't like the interactions between him and the Marcellus.
So I forgot about the ending of that pocket watch monologue, and I'm watching it. I'm like, man, I don't remember this scene being this dreadful. I mean, it's Christopher Walken, so I mean, how bad can this scene be, right? I mean, the dude's always good at talking and shit. But he ends it with
The dude's good with like talking and shit.
like monologues. That's what I mean. Dick. He has an iconic voice. You gotta give him that.
Oh, he does. He does with like talking and shit.
Yeah, that would be what talking voice. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But I never expected the monologue to go to the way of, and you know how he got it out? He shoved it in his ass. And then I shoved it in my ass. And now we're giving it to you. And
like
it's one thing about that's one thing about this movie is every scene you think it's going to go one way, but it's so unpredictable in that sense that it just completely goes in the opposite direction. The pocket watch monologue is just one of those scenes where you weren't expecting them to say, "Oh yeah, I shoved it in my ass." Now they kind of need that whole monologue to do the other scenes with him going back to get his watch, and then him fucking capping old John Travolta's ass in the apartment after he was taking a shit.
Yeah.
So you
But it didn't
need
make.
that.
But did it fucking make sense for the pawn shop guy to be like a secret gay dude that likes to just rape people's ass?
So that's actually one thing I wanted to bring up, and it's one of the themes of the movie and how it all kind of ties together. So the whole movie is separated into three chapters. The first one is Vincent Vega and Marcellus Wallace's wife. Second one is the
Yeah.
gold watch. The third is the Bonnie situation. So each chapter is about salvation and or redemption. So if you go towards, we'll use the very end as an example, or we'll use the second one, the gold watch. Butch has a chance to escape from Marcellus and leave him there getting gangbanged. But he decides to do the right thing and go back and save Marcellus. Marcellus then says, "Okay, you're free to go. We're even Stevens at this point." So that's his redemption. That's his salvation, as they say. Jules, the entire movie is talking about quitting and not doing these evil things anymore, right? And he is able to convince the diner bandit who is going to rob everyone and possibly kill people. He convinces him to not do that. That is his redemption right there. Whereas Vincent, who is shutting everything down, he doesn't think anything's a miracle. He's going to continue killing people. And guess what happened to him? He gets killed. So the whole movie is about these characters and their redemption arcs and salvation.
Yeah, I can see that now.
So,
The one scene that I fucking loved was when John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson's riding in the car with the guy, and he shoots him in the head, and he's like, "You fucking hit a bump."
he said, "Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face."
Yeah.
what's so great about that scene is, like I said, I've seen the movie before, but it still fucking caught me off guard, man. It made me like let me look like a little jump scare a little bit. It was so it's just unpredictable. But then it's the reactions to those specific scenes of those characters that is just it turns a serious moment and it makes it comedic. He just turns around and he's like, fuck, man, I just shot him in the face.
And then they meet up with the guy that's gonna clean the car, and he's bossing him around, and Travolta's like, "Police?" I mean, I don't know why I enjoyed that scene so much, but it was a good one.
No, I do really really love that scene, and I want to go back to some of the scenes that we probably think could get cut from this movie. Is this a perfect movie to me? I don't think so. I think you could, like I said earlier, you could trim off about 15 minutes of this movie, and I think you would still have probably even a better movie, honestly. But what are some scenes that you would personally cut from Pulp Fiction? Mine, I don't think I'd cut all of it, but the diner scene's one of them.
I'd cut it down some.
Another one that I would cut is some of the talk between Butch and his girlfriend. But I'm wondering if you need some of that for his character. And I think so. I don't know 100% if I would get rid of that portion of the story. Maybe trim it down a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably my least favorite is the interaction between Butch and his girlfriend. I think I don't know. It falls on the line of like, he's like, "Hurry up and get out of here! Somebody's gonna try to kill us," and she's like, "But wait, honey, why?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I yelled at you." I didn't, I didn't find that necessary.
I'll give you a scene when he's riding in the car in the taxi cab after the boxing match.
Yeah, definitely that made no sense. I didn't.
I love how it's like a fake background and they're just driving. They're in the car. It's like you remember like one of those like old like timey like westerns or something like that, and like on horseback, but it's actually like a treadmill of a background behind them.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, bro, just really stripped his sweaty ass drawers off in the back of that taxi cab and threw them out the window.
So I think you get rid of that one. Really? I mean, I wouldn't. I personally, I wouldn't cut anything of the pawn shop. I think all that was great, to be honest with you. when it cuts to them having the gags in their mouth, and they're not even like fucking like freaking out about it, dude. They're just sitting there with the ball in their mouth and they're just chilling.
I think part of it is I just want more of the Samuel L. Jackson Travolta. I mean, that was just epic dialogue between them. Acting was fucking phenomenal, and they just bounced off each other so well.
What did you think about? And this kind of goes back bouncing off that. What did you think about the non-linear storytelling that they did in this? Did it throw you for a loop?
I get that in English.
Well, do you want me to be a dick, or you just want me to rephrase
it? I don't give a fuck how you do it, really.
Well, I wouldn't be Matthew Primo if I didn't make it into a dick remark. So, non-linear means not straight. That means time skipping.
Oh, okay. I fucking hate you, motherfucker.
Hey, you had the choice.
I mean, it was going to be the same way either which way.
Nah, I would have been a dick if you told me, nah, man, I need a hug today. I'd be like, all right, man. Nah. It just means time jumping. That's all it means.
Motherfucker, I've known you longer than you've known me, so I know that.
That's fair.
it worked. It worked. I mean,
Did you expect it?
I no, not at all. I didn't expect it, but I don't think they could have arced Samuel L. Jackson's character without it time jumping. At first, I was thrown off by it. I was like, why the fuck did we just sit here and listen to these two motherfuckers talk in a diner forever?
Oh,
You
at the
know,
very
and
beginning of
then
the movie? Yeah.
yeah, and it jumps out whenever they start to. It's a robbery, motherfucker. And then it starts cutting back, and you're like, what the fuck did I miss?
I remember watching this movie for the first time and seeing that scene and going, did I let me check my phone. Did I skip something? What the fuck is that? And then when you get to the scene with Jules and Vince talking, like it still didn't click in my head where it was. And then when it cut to them, I was like, no fucking shit, man. Nope. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on it either till afterwards. But what was the reason they put so much emphasis on the funny ass little shorts and t-shirts that they wore after they killed that guy? Was it just humorous that they're not in their suit and tie?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they look. Samuel L. Jackson looked funny as hell in it,
You
but
did.
I was just curious if there was anything else I missed on it.
No. And I don't know if you know this, but the guy that the house that they went to bring the body, that is Quentin Tarantino right there. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh yeah, I did know that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I was like, look at this dude making a cameo in his own movie.
I want to say he's in all of his movies.
Really? I'm trying to. Was he in Django?
I can't remember.
The three I've seen of his is Django and Incestuous Bastards.
Inglorious Bastards.
I was so close.
Incestuous Bastards. One long night in Perry County.
Oh hell.
So yeah, man, I think it's a iconic movie. I love the dialogue. Like I said, not a perfect movie by any means. I think there's some scenes that can be trimmed or cut out altogether. But one thing Quentin Tarantino can do is he can construct just super interesting characters from the get go. Like it doesn't take 30 minutes for these characters to get interesting. It's like as soon as they are on screen, you are paying attention and they grab your attention and won't let go. And he is able to do that, and which is crazy because he writes all of his movies, and they all have so many freaking characters in them. And the fact that he can make these amazing characters from the get go every single time is kind of crazy, and it's kind of testament to his good character writing and stuff like that, and just how good of dialogue. Reservoir Dogs, which came out before this one, that was his first movie. This Pulp Fiction was his second movie he ever directed. Reservoir Dogs was have you ever seen that movie? No, you said you've only
No,
seen a couple.
yeah.
So that one's about a heist, and they end up in a in like a storage building, and the entire movie takes place in one room. And it's
He
legitimately just conversations between these characters.
he kind of, I don't know. I won't say does that a lot, but it feels like he does. But then I look at the other movies, I'm like, well, not really, I guess. But
The only
it's
ones
just
that the only
the
ones that are
hateful.
the Hateful Eight takes place in one
Yeah,
shack. But goddamn, is it funny? You know that
but
what was that? What was that TV show? Vice Principals with remember that show that we used to
oh
watch?
yeah, that was funny as hell. Yeah,
One of the Walter Goggins, the skinnier teacher, the skinnier vice principal.
yeah.
He's in the Hateful Eight, and bruh, he is so fucking funny in that movie.
Oh shit, Samuel L. Jackson's in that one too, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson is in all of his movies, but I think two.
Wow. I mean, I'm impressed at somebody that can make a dialogue heavy movie be entertaining and interesting at the same time? Because a lot of times I feel like it's just time fillers when they start doing some of that, and it doesn't add anything to the characters or the story. And I feel like Tarantino has that ability to make it a good scene, even if it is just them talking in a car.
I don't know how he does it. Like if you go back and think, like let's use this movie as an example, since we're obviously talking about it. They're talking about hamburgers international across the sea, talking about hamburgers. And if you put that conversation in any other movie, it doesn't work. But why does it work in this movie? On the first scene that you meet these two characters, you know,
I
like
think
I don't understand it.
the only thing I can think of is it's a relatable conversation that you might have with somebody. You know, two down to earth guys just talking stupid shit.
Right?
You know, it's just
Yeah, yeah, relatable. Yeah, I don't. I still don't. It's some form of slut magic, man. That he can make those conversations super interesting. And it's not just that one. There's you go further in this movie, and there's just more conversations just like that that are super random and may not really fit the overall story, and they're interesting. And it's not just like he struck gold with this one movie and he did that. He does that in every single movie.
yeah, he's top notch on it. And you know, I've watched a few of his interviews and stuff like that, and he doesn't take no shit. He pretty much tells you, hey man, it's a movie. It's up to the viewers to decide what they take from it. And he doesn't get bogged down in all that political bullshit that they try to attach to movies and stuff.
No, no, he doesn't. Otherwise, he would have stopped saying the N word in his movies a long time ago. That dude don't fucking care, man.
He's not scared to go down all avenues. That's for sure.
What was it? Once upon a time in Hollywood, he made a comment about Bruce Lee in one of his interviews about how Bruce Lee was like a dick or something like that. And then like his family, like Bruce Lee's family came out and was like, bro, you need to fucking apologize. And he came out and said, I'm not fucking apologizing for him being a dick. The dude's a dick. He's a dick.
That'd be like me apologizing for you being a dick all the time.
Right? Yeah, Tarantino, man. If you go listen to like any of the podcasts that he's on, he did one with Joe Rogan that I would recommend to any of y'all out there that likes hearing him. He talks about some off the wall movie shit that's very interesting. If you're into that kind of stuff. So overall, what would you give this, sir? And would you recommend this to people? And I'm actually going to ask you, would you be up for reviewing another? I'm not saying we're going to do another Tarantino movie like next week or anything like that, but would you be up to reviewing another one?
Definitely. All but that in the Bastards movie. I've already seen that one, and I didn't care for it.
That one is, if you like the smaller moments in that movie, it's a lot better. But that movie is carried by Brad Pitt and Christoph Waltz. The whole movie is carried by those two characters. So when they're not
Yeah,
in the movie, it's not as interesting.
I'd give this movie a 3.5, and that just based on my first reaction to the movie. I think it would go up if I watched it again. It kind of plays on the side of Sopranos, where you watch it the first time and you're like, it was pretty good. And then when you watch it the second time, you're like, that was fucking amazing, man. That's a masterpiece. And, you know, every other time you watch it, it grows to be a better and better series. And I kind of feel like this would be on that same line.
I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I think the only thing that keeps it from being perfect for me, I know it's, one of the greatest movies of all time, and was it number 94 and on one list. I mean, lots and lots of like magazines and websites have named it one of the greatest movies of all time, and I wouldn't be opposed to giving it in that putting it in that category. But for me personally, I just think it might be a little too lengthy. Shout out. Trim it
Never
a
had that
little
problem.
bit. Yeah, usually it's not. I mean, that's never. I don't ever have to deal with that problem, and you don't usually want to go shorter. But anyways, moving on. I don't want to get technical with it.
I don't want to get monotonized by this.
If I can remember what you said earlier, I would fucking say it again, but I don't fucking remember.
It's been a long fucking day.
It has, man. Yeah, I'd give it 4.5 stars. I just don't think it's a perfect movie. I do find myself at times during the movie, and some of those moments that I have mentioned, where I kind of scroll my phone for a few minutes and I get back to the movie and stuff like that. So, I wouldn't say it's a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, and I still have it at number 3 on my Tarantino ranking list. But iconic scenes, I think it's filmed. I think it's filmed great. Like some of the shots that they have in this movie are just fantastic, especially how he transitions from scene to scene. Or let me rephrase that. How he transitions the camera in one particular scene is, I think, masterful. I do not like the transitions from scene to different scenes. Does that make sense? Like if he goes from like a scene with like Marcellus and then he skips to the pocket watch scene or something like that, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of abrupt, and he puts in, the fucking like chapter 3 or some shit, kind of like a scapegoat.
Well, not even that. It's the like it almost kind of looks like if I hit iMovie and I do the little transition thing where it dissolves from scene to scene,
Yeah.
or it does like a little fadeaway. It's just, to me, it's not subtle. It's very jarring. But in between those, I like how he frames those particular scenes. But yeah, 4.5 stars for me. I would recommend this, people. I want to say it's on HBO Max. I watched it on Vudu. I bought it, so I don't know.
No, it was on Max.
All right.
That's where I watched it.
Did you end up picking a movie for next week?
I have the short list. I just can't decide.
What the fuck? You've only had like a week to decide.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm trying to decide if I'm going what direction I want to go in. I have a possible homage to October, or then a newer movie, or do I want to do a fucking classic? I'm trying to decide, man. Don't rush me.
Oh, I guess the people can't decide if they want to watch the movie next week or not. Waiting for our review.
Oh, womp womp womp.
I guess y'all will just have to find out next week.
Yeah, well, hey, bitches, he'll put it on Facebook for you.
I probably won't.
Fair enough.
Well, guys, that is going to be it from us. If you're on YouTube, drop a comment below of what is your favorite Tarantino movie. Where does this rank on his 9 movies? He has one more movie before he retires. I am super excited to. I think I've seen one of his movies in theaters. That was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I will definitely go see his last movie in theaters. But let us know below what is your favorite. And we appreciate y'all supporting us and joining us. You feel like you're about to say something?
I think we should watch Showgirls. I think that would be a freaking hilarious review.
The musical?
The one with the Saved by the Bell chick get naked all the time.
Hold up. Hold up.
You ain't never heard that Showgirls? It has Jesse Spano in it.
I'm pretty sure that's the
I've tried to watch it like 9 times. I've never made it past like the first 30 minutes of it.
is that a bad thing?
I mean, I wasn't jerking off, so yeah.
All right, this is not the movie that I was thinking of. I'm thinking about the one. I think it had
this came out in the this came out in the 90s, man, and it was so I don't know. They claim that's the movie that ruined her career.
When did Saved by the
Look,
Bell come out? In the late 80s?
into the 90s, and then this movie came out right as it ended, and it was so controversial because there's so much nudity in it that it hit the theater at a NC-17 rating, and it was a fucking flop.
I'm thinking about the movie Dreamgirls, not Showgirls.
Uh,
That one is a musical, if I'm not mistaken. Which was I was like, you don't watch a musical? You know what? I will fucking watch it just to get your reaction. I will fucking watch this.
Oh no, I got that wasn't the movie I was thinking of. I don't know why that popped in my head.
But yeah, guys, that's going to be it from us. We'll see y'all next week. Laters.
Later.